Durant blows by Primo. Attack.
Jokic in the power. Here it goes. Got it. Denver has won.
But that's my stubborn side. Like, it's easy to go somewhere and go win a championship with somebody else. It's easy. But this is the hard way to do it, and we did it.
We welcome you in to the Small Ball Podcast alongside the wonderful Trevor Mickulin and the very wise Christian Dennis. I'm Scott Ayers. More importantly, though, fellas, producer Andy is back in studio. On camera. Hey. Nice.
Better than ever.
He did not let us down. That is the entrance. No, that is what we expected. The NBA season is here. It's arrived. And we are about 1 week in, and there's been surprising things. There's been some things we expected. And one of those things that surprised us all, the Utah Jazz and the Portland Trailblazers are 3-0.
Yeah, definitely did not expect the Utah Jazz to be as good as they are right now. But you got to give respect to the Jazz. It's just a hodgepodge of random guys who are pretty good, solid role players in the league. And, they're coming together and a little band of misfits, and they're just taking on good teams and beating them. Like, the teams that they beat are very respectable.
Yeah, they're surprising the whole NBA. And they could be one of the teams that, they end up still being like the worst team in the West. But right now, let's enjoy what we're seeing. And let's talk about some of the players that have stood out for us. I know you want to talk about Lauri Markkanen, but even Walker Kessler for like the first 3 games of the season has been really solid. I think 9 rebounds around that range, and I think he had a double-double already for a rookie, and a guy that had low expectations. You guys are all checking the stats. He's looked really good, and there's other people on this team as well. But yeah, super, super encouraging if you're a Jazz fan and you want to see some of the young players like begin to develop.
Yeah, Mike Conley, Jared Vanderbilt being one of those new faces as well that has been playing well. And that kind of leads us into a new segment that we've talked about on the show. Trevor, he came into my room this morning and he said, "Scott, I have an idea for the podcast." And I said, "Trevor, I can't wait to hear it. It's buy or sell here on the Small Ball Podcast. Are we buying? Are we selling?" And let's start with the 2 teams we mentioned. Portland, Utah Jazz, they both start off 3-0. Are we buying this, or is this kind of a shtick? We're selling it, saying these are going to be 2 bad teams by the end of the year.
Let's start with the Jazz first, and let's just keep going with what we were doing.
I'm selling on the Jazz. I don't think they're going to continue to be this good. I think, even the Sam Hinkie Sixers with Michael Carter Williams started off 3-0, and they were like one of the worst teams in the league. So I think it's just a hot start for the Jazz. It's fun for Jazz fans, but they're not going to be good.
Yeah, I'm also selling on the Jazz for the reasons I said earlier. Like, I think that they're showing a lot right now, which is so cool. But yeah, this isn't going to carry over. But Lauri Markkanen, what have you liked about his game so far?
Dude, Lauri Markkanen is like he's shot out of a cannon from Eurobasket. He is just nuts right now. Just the other night against New Orleans, he had 31 points and 12 rebounds. And then he also had 2 steals and a block. So he's kind of doing a little bit of everything.
He looks so confident.
Yeah, it's got to be the new coaching staff, with Will Hardy. They just, probably sat him down and be like, "Hey, man, like, we don't have a lot of scorers, we don't have the guy on this team. Go be the guy. Just go shoot. Go have fun out there." And he's really taken advantage of it because he's been nuts to start in these first 3 games.
Yeah, I think the hope, too, for Utah is trying to have some sort of high lottery pick. I think a guy like Scoot Henderson could be a great fit, which is funny because they go from Donovan Mitchell. They then picked up Scoot. And you're like, what's different here? But that's the beauty of upside and the unknown. So I like Utah selling. They could have won 3 of their first 20 games of the year in that first week of the season. Let's move on to Portland. I'll start this one off, and I'm going to buy the Portland Trailblazers. I think that this isn't going to be a top 6 team in the West, but everyone they play, it's going to just be hell for that team. And I fully expect Portland to be in the play-in, or at least very much in the thick of it by the end of the year. So I'm buying in the Portland Trailblazers.
Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up Portland and I'm going to take a look at it. And then I think I'm going to put them back down. Because they're intriguing. Adding Jeremy Grant has shown to be a great pickup for them. You have guys like Josh Hart who can, pat the stats and plays a really solid role. Even guys like Justice Winslow is playing a lot and playing well. Their small ball lineup has been killer so far. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they continue throughout the season. I think they will cool off, but it is good to see Dame back and healthy.
Yeah, Christian, I like your little metaphor there. I'm walking Target aisle, and the week before I was at a friend's potluck, and I had the soft chips Ahoy, and I was like, man, I haven't had those in years. Those are really good. So when I'm at Target and I see those, I buy them because I remember Dame Lillard is that guy. So I'm buying Portland. I think that their addition of Jeremy Grant was awesome. He already hit a game winner for them. I don't know if you guys saw that, but even like Josh Hart looks awesome. Oh my gosh, Anthony Simons is playing like an all-star right now. And even Shaedon Sharpe, holy moly, this guy's a baller. So they're playing really good. Nurkic looks healthy. I think that's an easy buy if I'm a fan and I'm trying to predict. I think Portland will be a playoff team this season, so I'm buying it.
I love it.
Wow, so you're moving from play in to play off.
Yeah, I think they're going to be a top, top 6. I think they're top 7, and maybe they're playing, but I think they have a possibility, high possibility to be a playoff.
I love it. I love it. Let's go on to the flip end of the West. A lot of teams starting winless in those first few games. Do you buy that any of these teams can find themselves into the playoffs? Those teams being Houston, OKC, Sacramento, and LA. 4 teams right there, all winless. Are any of those teams going to be playoff teams, or are they packing their bags and tanking?
I think if any of those teams are going to be playoff teams, it's the Lakers, and we're not going to focus on them. This is a small market show. I think that even with all the controversy and how bad they've looked, they have the best player in the world, arguably LeBron James, and AD. I was going to say and Russ, but he's looked really bad. But I think that they're going to find their way. So they have the best chance. I would say Sacramento has had and this is as a biased Kings fan, they've had a rough go at it. The first 3 games, played 3 solid basketball teams. I think that they're not going to be a playoff team. They're a play-in team. I think they're going to be top 10 in the West, and I still hold to that. So,
I think Mike Brown has said it best. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It's just 3 games. There's plenty of season left for the Sacramento Kings to kind of turn it around. I do think that they are playing much better than we've ever seen in the past 16 years, even though we're losing. The games that we're losing are against teams that are really good. Power rankings came out, and it was the Warriors are the 3rd best, the Clippers are the 6th, and the Blazers are the 10th best based on a power ranking. So it's not like we're losing to these awful teams. We're losing to really good teams who are either play in or play off bound for sure.
And another thing, these games coming up are going to be a big test to see where this team actually is at. They play Memphis next on Thursday, I believe. So that will be a big test for Sacramento to see, all right, this is a winnable game. No more excuses. No more excuses. We can say that the first 3 games were against teams that, they probably should lose to. Memphis is a game you need to get, especially after losing the first 3.
Right. Now, listen to this. Producer Andy, before the show, he looked at us and he said, guys, I picked Tyrese Halliburton to be the most improved player this season. I also heard a take before the show. Tyrese Halliburton, is he a top 3 guard? Will he be a top 3 guard by the end of this season? Are you guys buying that Tyrese Halliburton is going to be a top 3 guard? And are you buying that he's going to be the most improved player?
Top 3 guard or top 3 point guard?
Point guard, excuse me. Point guard.
Okay.
Yeah, guard.
Just had to make that distinction.
Guard would have been, that would have been a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, I could see him being most improved, being on a Pacers team where he is the point guard. They traded Brogdon away. There's not really that guard who's going to be taking the ball out of his hands. He's able to put up tons of stats. He's a double-double every night kind of guy. I think he definitely has a shot to be the most improved player. And I like Andy's odds there. I think that's a good bet for you, Andy. And if you make any money, please put it back into small ball so we can, I don't know,
Buy
boost.
more equipment. Buy fans.
Yeah, I used our ad money for that.
By
bet,
listeners.
Please listen to our podcast. What did you say, Andy? Sorry, I cut you off.
No, yeah, you're good. I used our ad money for that. So
Oh, I was wondering. That actually is a really good bet, though. That lets us buy more ads. I can buy that he's most improved player. I can't buy that he's going to be a top 3 guard by the end of the year.
Point guard.
Point guard, excuse me. He's not going to be a top 3 point guard or guard. You could make a case that top 5 point guard, but there's 3 guards alone in the West that I can think off the top of my head that are better than him and will be better by the end of the year. Dame Lillard, Steph Curry, John Morant, right off the top of my head. I didn't even think. I don't even use my brain to name those
You
names.
are insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you could even, like, are we classifying Luka as a point guard?
See,
'Cause-
that's, because if he's classified as a point guard, then night, sleep tight.
If we're going to classify Luka as a point guard, then Jokic is a point guard. I hate that game.
Okay, so Luka is a point guard.
Luka's a shooter.
I feel
Luka
like
and
Luka's
Jokic.
more of a point guard than Jokic, though.
Okay, we're not. I mean, on the starting thing, it doesn't say Luka's the point guard. He's the shooting guard, or even the 3, because Spencer Dinwiddie's the 1. Anyways, let me keep buying. Tyrese Halliburton, I am buying. This is gonna look the same. We're all buying the first option of most improved, and we are selling the fact that he's gonna be top 3. I think Tyrese Halliburton is gonna be really good this season and so fun to watch. This guy has, if you watch the games, has leadership qualities that you do not come by. Only the stars have this kind of leadership quality. And just seeing, how old is Tyrese? Can someone look that up for me? He's like 21 or 22.
Yeah, I'll look that up for you, Trev.
Okay, look that up for me. Thank you, Scott. While you're looking, let me explain. He has these qualities. I'm seeing this guy pull aside. Sure, the team's young and stuff, but he's pulling them in for huddles. He's leading timeout huddles, things like that. How old is he?
He's 22.
He's 22 years old, guys. This guy's young. I'm older than this guy. Raise your hand if you're older than this guy. That's everyone on this show.
And this is a young show.
we are a rebuilding show. We are young.
we are in the middle of our rebuild.
Yes, we're tanking.
We've gone through 4 producers.
it seems like we've been tanking.
We're trying to draft either a better personality or a better host at the end of the podcast season.
Yeah. Anyways, Tyrese Halliburton's showing a lot right now. He's an exciting guy. So I think possibly next year he can enter that top 3 point guard discussion, but not this year.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, there's so many good young guards that it's really hard to rank any of these guys.
But I'm saying I could see Tyrese Halliburton being like, oh my gosh, he is that good. He could be a top 3 point guard. The same way we look at a LaMelo type.
I think LaMelo's better than Tyrese.
Maybe
Yeah,
not
I do
a LaMelo, let's say Ja type guy. Oh wow, he's really good. So that could be a spicy take, but let's move on.
That's a perfect time to transition. This isn't actually going to go. Oh my God!
Try again.
Try again.
Andy, cut that out.
Please cut that out. That's so
won't be cut
embarrassing. All right, listen to this though. This is what Andy also said to me before the show. They do this in the Premier League. It's the relegation system. The 2 worst teams in the NBA get relegated to the G League, and the 2 best teams in the G League move up into the NBA.
Yeah.
I saw this tweet. No, that was a weird transition there, but
Yeah.
but that's something Adam Silver said that they were looking into, which
Yeah.
I thought was an absolute terrible idea.
It's super interesting. And the reason why it's interesting to bring up because it totally nixes the idea of tanking, where the value of playing game 76 for a bad team is still just as high for a good team. Because if you get demoted or relegated, I mean, that kills a team in the Premier League. That kills you financially, whatever. So it wouldn't necessarily have the same impact because these owners are billionaires, whatever it might be. But it's just an interesting idea to kind of kill the tank. How the draft would work, though, would probably be completely different. How the leagues would be intertwined would be completely different. I don't necessarily see it working, but it isn't a great idea because it keeps every game interesting from game 1 till game 82.
That's a fair point, but I mean, I would imagine if these G League teams are moving up into the NBA, they would have to get like 1 and 2 pick. You know,
I'm guessing that would be it.
they can't let other teams get that. And so from there, I would say that team would probably be bad again. And then they would just go back to the G League. And then all of a sudden you have Victor Wembanyama playing in the G League when he should be playing in the NBA.
What if he's building what if they're building a powerhouse though in the G League and then they win the G League? Next thing you know, they're in the NBA Finals.
Imagine buying a team for like $4 billion and then they get sent down to the flipping G League, dude. I hate that idea. Is that an actual thing people are thinking about?
It's an actual
They've
conversation
talked
that's
about it.
happening.
Yeah. It's like
I can't imagine it goes through.
You ever seen the what's the movie with Will Ferrell?
Semi-pro.
Semi-pro. It is literally semi-pro. That is the entire plot of semi-pro. And then you have random teams like the Flint Tropics who are doing everything they can to try to like make it to the NBA, and then they don't even make it.
It would be electric. And I like I said, I don't see it happening, but some of the best moments in the Premier League have happened for teams trying to qualify for the Premier or trying to stay out of getting relegated. Andy, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So you're right. Like on paper, this looks like a great idea, but the actuality of it is like,
Oh, it won't work.
a team is gonna go down into the G League and absolutely smoke like another team for like the entire season, and then come right back up. And then it's just gonna be like these teams like the teams that go down into the G League are just gonna obliterate.
The
all
only
the
way
other
that I
teams.
see it working, let's say there's 10 G League teams, 40 teams, they do an entire redraft.
Oh,
that would never happen.
Imagine
This is not fantasy.
Imagine if like LeBron gets hurt on the Lakers, and then it's like, all right, Lakers are back in the G League. LeBron gets healthy, and then you got LeBron going up against your cousin who plays in the G League.
yeah. Like you're gonna have LeBron putting up 75 points a game. Like it would be ridiculous.
All right, so buy or sell. Relegation system.
I'm giving that away.
That is
Throwing it in
a
the dumpster.
goodwill donation.
You know what? I buy. Andy?
Oh, I'm buying that. I want to see LeBron score 75 a night. Like, yes, against like the San Antonio Sharks. Like, of course.
The San Antonio Sharks.
good.
That makes me really, really happy. Guys, do you have any buy or sells before, we start to wrap the show up?
No, I don't. Actually, I have one.
Give it to us.
Do you guys buy or sell the Washington Wizards with Porzingis, Kyle Kuzma, Monte Morris, Bradley Beal? They've shown to be
They're
pretty
2-1.
Yeah, they're 2-1. They show to be flowing pretty good. Solid team. They just went into overtime with the Cavs last night. Pretty good. What do you guys think?
I mean, their just biggest red flag is health. And so that's going to be the biggest. If Porzingis can give them 60-plus games, I think they're a playoff team. The problem is that's a huge if because I just don't trust his health at all. Like by game 11, it feels like he's going to have ice wrapped around his ankles, his cranium, his back. Like he's going to have ice everywhere on his body. So that's a big issue. However, just for the sake of it, I'm going to say I'm buying the Washington Wizards because I have my guy Will the Thrill.
I think that if Will the Thrill, that was a gem. If they're healthy, I could say, what does buying mean? Like a playoff team?
Yeah, I mean, just a good team. They've been kind of iffy
Above
the past
500
few years.
and I could see them being like a 44 win team. Yeah, so I'm buying it. If they're healthy with Kristaps, I think that they can do that. Bradley Beal is solid. Yeah. I have another buy or sell.
Is Bradley Beal a top 5 guard in the NBA?
No,
Okay, go ahead.
he's not. Here, buy or sell Jaden Ivey being rookie of the year. He's had a great start to the season, has played really well for Detroit. Are you buying or selling that Jaden Ivey could be rookie of the year?
I am selling. I think he'll be top 2 though. So he'll be a runner up.
He's a favorite.
Yes.
Okay.
But I just don't think he will win. I think his electric highlight plays are going to be what gets him in the conversation, but I don't think he will win.
The top 5, well, Chet's been hurt, but 3 of the top 5 have been awesome to start. I know you guys as King fans have to be thrilled with Keegan Murray. Paolo's been great. Jaden Ivey's been great. Shaden Sharp has been great. It's been really...
Walker Kessler.
Walker Kessler's been great.
Benedict Mathurin.
Yes, I'm glad you said that.
Christian Brown with the Nuggets has been awesome. Like
You just snuck him. You snuck him into that.
When you said that name, I was like, who the hell is Christian Brown?
Yeah, you snuck that in there.
He locked down Klay Thompson. I mean, they've all been really great. But that's the hard thing. I unfortunately, I'm not going to buy. I'm not going to sell. And I'm not going to liquidate Jaden Ivey. Yeah.
That's good.
That's really good.
What does that mean for listeners?
It basically means you're selling your assets. It's a liquidation sell. But I'm not doing any of that with Ivy. He's great. It's just this field for Rookie of the Year feels like it can be really deep, or at least for all rookie teams. So he's definitely going to be up there, but I can't buy or sell at this time.
Okay. Wow. Holding off. That's good.
I'm holding off. Like, it's a nice home. It's like a $2 million home.
Yeah.
And because we're podcasters, and YouTubers, we make that much.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't know if I want to buy that right now.
You're like a pawn shop calling in the expert right here. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to come in and I'll give you the estimate.
Yeah.
Yeah, the best I can give you is
Jaden Ivey, I'm buying it. If I'm you guys, I'm buying that. I think that he can be a favorite. I think he's going to be a favorite for Rookie of the Year, top 2 guy for that. So in a way, you would agree. But he's averaging almost 18 points. He's shooting like 45% from deep, and he looks really solid. He looks athletic. Yeah.
I was going to ask, do you guys think that record matters when it comes to Rookie of the Year?
No. You could win 6 games, and I think you can still win
If you're playing really good. Yeah. And he's playing about 20 or 32 minutes a game. So he's getting the time, and that could even rise, which offers more stat numbers to, support the Rookie of the Year fight. So I like Jaden Ivey a lot. He's shown a lot. It is a crowded Rookie of the Year class, and it looks stacked right now.
With Christian Brown?
With Christian Brown up there at the top. I think that this year, Jaden Ivey is going to show out, and the flashiness is going to all support his Rookie of the Year fight.
It's crazy how we're talking about how like this draft class is so stacked, but then like next year's is supposed to be unreal.
Yeah.
So it's like,
maybe the best ever for like a lottery.
It's funny though, because it always ends up being like the draft class that is super like not hyped up, like this one, because we're already thinking about Victor. Like this, we were talking on the podcast before the draft about Victor Wembanyama, and this draft class is proving to be awesome. Like this next one may not be as good as this one,
Which is fun. I think that just shows you the amount of talent that's coming into the
Yeah.
NBA. What's really cool too is it just feels like it really is a world game now. So many different players from all over the world that are so friggin' talented, which just makes the game better. It makes the NBA better because there's going to be another generation of LeBrons and Stephs and. Golly, that just blows me away.
Golly,
Miss Molly. Well, with that, for our lovely and wonderful producer, Andy. Lovely, wonderful. For our cunning and skilled Trevor Mikulin. And the wise and Christian Dennis. I'm Scott Ayers. We say so long for now, and we will see you next week.
I love NBA. Hey, thanks for watching. Before you leave, make sure you like and subscribe. We're the only NBA show that focuses only on covering small to mid-market teams. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Small Ball Podcast. Have a great day.